Sorry about that. We are back. Now if I can only get my overlays to work, that would be awesome. Anyway, the BNR Truck Series. Pocono. Here tonight. 3 turns. Got the old 3-turn doozy here. Maybe I can get this to rework again. Since it's being silly. Not too sure.
What you trying to get to rework? What's going on?
The overlays.
Oh, barnacles.
There we go.
Oh, well, you.
Got it. Anyway, Brandon Moore to the top. Dave Barry P2. Sammy Archibald P3. Joe Stipe P4 at the moment. I'll go over a little race day information here real quick. So as you see here, where we are in Long Pond, PA. A 2.5 mile track. Current weather is 75 degrees, 62% humidity. It's partly cloudy with 6 mile per hour wind. That wind is going to have an effect on the Long Pond straightaway and coming out of 3. They get unlimited tires. They get 1 quick fix and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. And that is that. I'll go over the starting grid real quick, and then we should be able to boot scoot boogie. So, starting grid will be Brandon Moore P1, Dave Barry P2, P3 Sammy Archibald, P4 Joe Stipe, P5 Mark Barry, P6 Josh Small, P7 Philip Bridgman, P8 Kyle Gooden, P9 Richard, P10 Chris, P11 Robert. We do have a handful of guys that are not here. They have personal events going on, so we wish them the best, and hopefully they'll get back with us next week.
Yes, indeed, Brian. We wish everyone the best while they are away, whether it be family related or what have you, anything at all. We do wish them the best, and hope to see them back soon.
Oh yeah.
A small contingent here this evening, only 11 drivers, but still, nevertheless, could still possibly put on a good enough show here this evening. I do believe these guys can show what they got. 25 laps, I got told, on a full tank, so, could cut it roughly where you can cut this race in half, but also could be kind of difficult if you're a hard charger type of person. That 25 laps could ink down maybe 21, 20 laps. So depending on how hard you're driving the truck, how much fuel you burn, could be a 3-stop, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll just be I meant to say a 2-stop race, but I think it should just be a 1-stop race. But that doesn't exclude, if we have a couple of cautions, drivers coming down and getting a fresh set of tires. Tires do kind of mean a lot here.
Yes, they do.
No shifting. I got told that they were not shifting into 3 or into going through turn 1. So no shifting in the trucks here at Pocono. I kind of thought there might be shifting, but I got kind of told no. So
maybe in the longer run, maybe, I don't know, because turns 1 can be a little tricky. At least unless they fix that to where now it's stable enough, and it should be good. So Brandon Moore is going to lead the field to green. Alongside him will be Barry. as in Dave.
For a second there, I thought Archibald's rear end said something else. But anyway, the Battle of the Oils up front, going to take the green flag. Going through, or exiting turn 3 now. Pace truck, Chevy Silverado, GMC Sierra, Chevy Avalanche pulls off. Well, I guess it's not an Avalanche. I don't have those arches. Anyway, green flag out in the air. And this evening, BNR Truck Series at Pocono Raceway.
Yes. As these drivers get ready to send it into turns 1 and 2. Side by side, very tight. Through the majority of the turns.
Almost 3 wide. They are 3 wide. Exiting the turn 1 complex. Call it a complex, my bad. It's just a banked turn. Down the straightaway into the tunnel turn. It's going to be tricky being 3 wide there. You don't even want to be 2 wide going through the tunnel turn.
I see Sammy Archibald already getting a great run on Dave there. Dave is going to give it to him. As Sammy looks to run down Brandon Moore there.
Almost looks like Dave got a bit tight going into turn 3. He wasn't quite in the lane he wanted to be. Archibald took it away from him with that run he had going into the corner. And couldn't quite get the transition. You know, still opening lap tires aren't up to temperature, so you're going to see certain drivers probably fall back a little bit, then charge back up once they have got some laps into the race. Everybody just logging some laps. It's a 60-lap event here in the Truck Series, so that's a full race distance in the real world. And 60 laps around Pocono. Man, this track, it's big. It can feel like a long time, Brian.
Yes, will indeed. Well, as long, I remember the last time we did come here, 60 laps, it exactly probably took them like an hour and, what was it last time, like an hour and 10? But as we see here, Sammy Archibald looking to pass Brandon Moore going into turns 1 and 2, just like that, as he clears by Brandon. Sammy is going to lead lap number 3, coming off of turns 1. Heading down that long straightaway stretch there of the Long Pond straightaway. Heading into turn 2, which is that tunnel turn as we talked about prior, as we put that up there, give them the overlay there. Heading into turns 3, because what's turn 4? As it has on the wall. So, quite a few long stretches here, Will. You got the whole front stretch coming to the start finish, and then that other long stretch coming out of turns 1.
One second, Brian, sorry.
All right.
Yes, Brian, this track was forged and inspired from the great Indianapolis Oval, or rectangle, if you want to call it a rectangle. It isn't considered an oval because it's a circular track as far as just going around taking left turns, but the track designer / owner at the time of Pocono, when it was being built, its conception, went to Indianapolis, saw a race there, and he was just mesmerized. He was taken back. He was just, his breath was taken away. And he was like, I can do this. So he also got inspiration from Milwaukee, the famous Milwaukee Mile. And there was another track that I no longer exists, and every time I tell the story, never can think of the name. But anyway, there was 3 tracks inspired, and it's a combination of 3 tracks meshed into one big, ginormous oval, except it's a triangle. So, if you ever want your kids to learn shapes, get them into racing. Because racing, all sorts of shapes involved. Joe Stipe, going into turn 1, had an enticing look on the inside Oh my goodness, excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Just got through eating a short time ago, literally. Anyway, had an enticing look on Philip Bridgman entering turn one this past prior lap. Now, Philip Bridgman pushing the back of Mark Berry going into turn one now. But, you know, whenever you get inspired, whether it's a road course or an oval, I guess it even goes in drag racing, because drag racing you have certain drag strips that kind of rise up, or they're just flat, or there's one drag strip that kind of has a slooping elevation downward. I can't remember where that's at, but I'm not really big into drag racing anymore like I used to be. But you know, there's other road courses that get made that were inspired by previous road courses, or I never can think of the famous F1 circuit builder, but he's built so many famous F1 circuits. But you know, whenever you get inspired to build a racetrack, normally it comes from previous racetracks that have been before it, and Pocono is exactly that.
I agree with you, Bull. Yes.
Just like Indianapolis was going to be a 4.5, 5 mile, maybe 6 mile circuit, but they couldn't get the acreage that they needed, the landing, the zoning property. They settled on the land that they got, and they built from there. And good pass that was trying to be made by Dave Barry, but man, Brandon Moore stuck it around the outside through the tunnel turn, and he had the momentum. That tunnel turn right now is favoring the outside lane if he can keep it to stick. Anyway, but Pocono was going to be kind of the same plans as the Brickyard. It was going to be bigger than just 2.5 miles, but they thought better of it, and it's a very, very difficult track because of the uniqueness of the 3 different corners, the long straightaways. Sometimes you can, just like being in a road course, you know, sometimes at a road course you can kind of forget where you're at. Well, the same thing can apply here. You can forget where you're at very easily sometimes, and overdrive a corner and find yourself smacking the wall at the end of the tunnel turn. So, got to be very careful.
Oh yeah. As you see here, Mark Berry trying to run down Brandon Moore, but Brandon carries a little bit more speed through the turn than Mark does, as now Dave Barry looks to close the gap in on Sammy.
Yeah, Archibald got out there to an early lead and has led this opening stanza of this race. Kind of wondering how much longer he's going to be able to stay out in front, if this speed can be sustainable for Archibald, or if the hunting party of Barry and Brandon Moore there are going to get up there and be able to overtake him. Mark Berry waiting in the wings there in 4th place. He gets a good run up onto the back of Brandon Moore, but in the center of the corner, going to lose a little bit of time, it looks like, just from the toe in front of them. You can really see how the draft really comes into play here, especially on the trucks. Back when they first repaved Pocono is when the Truck Series first came here, and the first 2 3 races that the trucks had, it was almost like being at a restrictor plate race in the early goings of a race or a restart. I was kind of hanging out, talking to the guys before the race. I said it would kind of be something if he could find a setup for Pocono to make the trucks kind of like a plate track. But
It could be possible. You get someone to build it the right way and
right?
implement that on all the manufacturers here. Could probably.
It was just one of those spitballing thoughts. Every now and again I have a couple of ideas about what type of racing would be interesting to see where Archibald gets passed by Barry, Dave Barry, that is, from the 56, at least going into turn one, he had a look.
But
Archibald still... Yes, I was going to say, he still has the lead, though. Are you looking at something on your computer?
No.
Okay, I was just curious because we just been looking at Mark. It's just been on Mark, which that's fine. But there was a battle for the lead going on, Brian, and we missed it. There was. I mean, come on now. You're slacking today. You're slacking. Waka, waka.
That's what all the camera views give me, and excited and crashes. I guess they were all thinking that Mark was fixing to crash here soon, I guess. So you see here, Dave is now trying to capitalize on Sammy, going down the start-finish, going into turns 1 and 2.
One.
Sammy, that's right, 1.
Yeah, he really has a good nose on him this time. Almost a half a truck on him. But that outside lane is prevailing as Archibald really sticks it along the outside lane. Now Brandon has a window of opportunity to get around Dave Barry now because Dave kind of stalled out in that bottom lane way down yonder in turn 1. So now Brandon's going to try to make a charging effort at Sammy now in the lead. Yes, get done eating, have a stuffy nose, yay. Anyway, so Brandon gets a good run out of the tunnel turn, gets a nose on Sammy, gets it to the inside, going through turn 3. But
Sammy
Archibald still...
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Brent.
Sammy captures the lead back with that run on the outside. So there are actually 2 grooves here. One's the bottom lane, which you see a majority of these guys doing. Longer the runs go, the outside lane's going to prevail in turns 1 and turns 3. It's always been that way definitely on the platform here. Always been that way. So if you can get the outside lane to hook, you'll be alright in the longer run. Oh, Brandon hits the wall there. A little tight behind that 14 machine there.
And it's very easy to get aero tight here at Pocono. Pocono, flat track, almost no banking except for what's in turn 1. You have a little bit in the tunnel turn, but turn 3, especially flat. And yeah, he really did hit it pretty good coming out of the tunnel turn there. I would say that was a pretty good brush with the wall. But he still went for a look under Archibald in turn 3, but wasn't there. So going back down the Long Pond back straightaway again. I don't think that 6 mile per hour wind it might be enough to affect the trucks. I don't know. I'm very spectacular on the fence whenever it comes about like how windy it has to be for it to affect racecraft. Like I would say, at least a good 10 or over. I feel is whenever it starts affecting vehicles and stuff. At least. I feel, like, especially, so like the best way to get a feel for that, I feel, is when you're going down the road and you just stick your arm out the window, right? So like the faster you go, the more it's going to push back your arm. So you kind of make your own imaginary wind tunnel, so to speak. But it are getting cooped up behind a semi going down the highway. But it's I've always kind of looked at that as like you know, as long as it's not, you know, over say 10 to 15 or higher wind gust, I think for the most part race cars are fine. Whenever you start to see high wind gust is when you want to try to take it easy going into corners, but everybody's getting kind of fanned out here at the moment. Still a decent scrap for first and second. Dave Barry falling back to fourth position at the moment. So, but still the top four only separated by under 2 seconds. A second, almost 2 seconds, just a second and 8/10 back to Dave Barry in fourth. So about to be 2 seconds. Oh, yeah. So Richard Johns in fifth place, Josh Small in sixth, Philip Bridgman seventh, Joe Stipe eighth, Chris Kamari ninth, Kyle Gooden in 10th place, and Robert Amaro has parked it or wasn't able to start. I think he parked it. I think he did a couple of laps and took it to the garage, which is understandable. Might have had something come up.
Kyle's just back here. Pacing.
Oh, I pronounced Robert's name wrong since you asked Robert Amell, right?
Yes.
Or, right? Amaral, okay.
We come back here, we got Chris. Just logging laps, not too comfortable with the truck, not a big fan of Pocono. But will next week is the final race of the regular season. They will head to Richmond.
Well, I think Kyle's still trying to get used to that new wheel he got as well.
Oh yeah. Pocono can be tricky, you know.
Very, very tricky track. You got to take each corner differently.
As you see here, Brandon ever so slightly falling back from Sammy, but captures that great speed coming out of turns 3. But Mark Berry is capitalizing on Brandon Moore here, Will, as we see they get ready to go into turns 1.
Yes, indeed. Mark Berry looking to the inside. Oh, he's going to take the spot away before they get into turn 1. So, good move for Mark. Up to second place for Mark. You know, it always seems the longer the run can go on, Mark just seems to be that long run type of driver guy that can just have that long run capability out of him.
Oh yeah. Closing in ever so slightly on 30 laps to go.
And what we suspect to be green flag scheduled pit stops in about 4 to 5 laps here. Maybe even 3. So, yep. Right as I was saying it, Brandon comes into the pits.
Richard comes in. Joe Stipe, Kyle Gooden. Oof.
So it almost kind of makes you scared, Brian. If you're going to pit this early at lap 20, has these guys burned enough fuel to where it will be a 2-stop race for sure? And could it possibly be a fuel mileage race at the end of this thing to where somebody could run out of fuel?
I'm going to say probably a fuel mileage race. And coming with that, I do believe here we have the leaders now coming into the pits. But Dave is going to stay out.
I think that's why Dave backed off, because he saw possibly he was burning up some fuel. So he might have just said, hey, I'm not going to charge this early. I'm going to back up. I'm going to save some fuel. I'm going to try to get it a little bit farther so I can only make it on one more stop. Or who knows? They could be able to make it from here. But I got told 25 laps, and like I said, if you charge or even just out there putting around racing, you're going to get that fuel number, lower than that. It, like I said, it could get to 21. It could, who knows what that fuel number could actually be once you're out there racing. You know that just as well as I do, Brian. So.
Oh yeah. Now I'm going to agree with everything you say because it's all facts. As you see here, Dave Barry now makes his scheduled pits. Josh Small is going to stay out a little bit more time in his eyes, and on top of Chris there.
We have seen before in the past Josh at Pocono really try to play the fuel mileage to the max. He in the past, not just at Pocono, but at other tracks as well. But Josh, he really does try to get the most out of his race car as possible. So
well, I think Josh and Chris are going to try to do it on 2 stops. Try, but I don't think it's going to happen. No, they can't. They would have to pit one more time. Others might have to pit 3 times.
I feel like we're going to see pit stops happening again, starting around lap 44 to 48. That should be the next fuel window being opened.
So Josh Hall now in the pits as Chris Camari's going to stay out an additional lap, get that extra bonus point for leading a lap. So good for Chris, for sure. But how long is this going to hurt him? And caution is out. We have a caution out, Will.
Oh, this is going to hurt. Maybe. No one was a lap down, I don't think, according to the scoring pylon. So
I think Philip had lost the truck from what it looks here.
Possibly cold tires. I think this might have been on his out lap out of pits. Oh, wow. He had a hospital hop coming out of turn 2 from the looks of things. Not a full spin, just looks like it just got slappy a couple of times, and iRacing just got a bit trigger happy with the caution, it looks like there, Brian. I guess he was full enough sideways that iRacing was just, whoa, Nelly. But
okay, see the other rear end snap loose. Philip tried to keep her under her. But I guess iRacing saw that Philip was sideways. Okay, we're now going to throw the yellow. So that is the first caution of the night. Goes out for Mr. Brisman. He's having a good run, and unfortunately that does that. But, Will, Chris.
I think if everybody... Well, good point. Yes, Chris might be the leader. He is the leader. He has to pit. He hasn't pitted, so I almost think... Yeah, that's a good... Could be... hopefully he's got it turned off, saving that fuel, or refiring, cranking it, cycling the engine. Because it's lap 25, he should be out of fuel, according to what I got told, but...
As you see here, Chris is just going to bring them all down.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm everybody, I'm just going to come back in, get another set of tires, top off. We have unlimited sets of tires here in this series. So come back in, top off, get another set of tires. This will extend the next fuel window, which would put them, maybe get them to 48 to 52. So I said earlier before the caution came out, 44 to 48. This should get to 48 to 52.
Yes. As you see there, Chris wins that race off pit road here as they come to the line.
Well, let's bring Archibald up into the broadcast booth and see what he has to say after leading those laps, this pit cycle, what he thinks, because he was leading. He had the dominant piece. Richard John stays out with the pace truck along with Kyle Gooden. They decided not to pit.
All right. Sammy, you got a copy.
What? Oh, yeah.
Hello, Archibald. How you doing?
Pretty good.
So, seems like you got a good piece here tonight. You know, I don't want to jinx you or make you feel like you're getting jinxed, oh my lord. But anyway, you got a good piece. You were out there leading a handful of laps. You were keeping the berries at bay. You were keeping Brandon, away as well. That outside lane, you were able to really stick it outside and just hang it out there. How's it feeling? How are you feeling? Do you feel like you can get back up there, retake the lead, and possibly win this thing tonight?
Definitely. It feels good.
That's all?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't think Sammy's used to being interviewed, that's why.
No, this is rare.
Oh, well, if you keep doing good, anyway. So, did you make that paint scheme yourself?
I did, yes. About 2 hours ago.
Well, good for you. I thought that rear end said something else, not gonna lie. Whenever I saw it from a distance, I thought it said something else. But, pretty sharp looking truck there. I'm trying to think what it reminds me of without you giving me any spoilers or it almost looks like a mixture of like a Toyota developmental driver truck, but it looks almost like a Stuart Haas type of vehicle.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just wanted to holler at you, see how everything was going. Looks like you're going to be restarting third. So how you feeling about restarting third? Do you think you can get a good kind of jump into turn one there?
Yeah, hopefully I can just put them 3 wide and go into it.
Oh, looking to go 3 wide. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Sammy. Best of luck to you out there. Hopefully you can walk away with the dub.
No problem. Well, you heard him. Going to try to get it 3 wide. Sorry, she had a mind of her own on the phone. Oof. Anywho, Will.
Who's on the phone?
Oh, Siri.
Oh.
Yeah, she thought I said her name. Anyway, iPhones are wonderful. So Richard is gonna take the field back to green right here as they drop the green flag. Richard controls it. There you go. Green flag is back out again here tonight in the BNR Truck Series, live to you on the BNR Racing Network at Pocono.
Richard with a big jump into turn one. Sammy nowhere involved to make it 3 wide. Richard up, and away. And at least that third place for Archibald, able to get into second. Oh, we got a spinning truck in the back.
I do believe that is Chris.
Chris Kamari in the 15, loops it around coming out of turn one.
So we can go back and see what had caused that real quick. As we see here, a little loose on the bottom fresh tires there. Tries to keep it off the 13. Does the best that he can. A little rear damage, and around he goes.
I think the left tire might have also clipped the flat apron there coming out of turn 1. That might have upset the front end of the truck and might have helped loop it. So Archibald battling Richard Johns up in the front of the field while this commotion going on behind. Richard trying to hold off Sammy as Richard had the high line that time. Dave Barry now takes control of the pack behind him, trying to get up to the front two. Like you said earlier, Brian, that outside lane is just so dominant. You can just about pinch or hold anybody you want down onto the bottom if you do it correctly. Going through turn 3 now. Archibald with the fresher tires, just a lap or two better than Johns, I'd have to say.
So Richard takes that lap back away from Sammy Archibald. Sammy is going to fall back to second wheel as Richard and Sammy look to head into turn 1. And Sammy's looking to take the outside wheel, as we saw earlier, how dominant he was on the outside lane. Richard's playing that. I'm going to protect this line, and you're going to have to try to go down here.
Richard really putting his truck where he needs to, especially through turn 1. He kind of put it in the middle of the track because Archibald wanted that high, almost contact going through the tunnel turn. That has led Dave Barry back up to the front of the field. He is right behind the battling front two. Dave Barry almost nowhere to go. Archibald now takes a slide job and puts it on Richard Johns going through turn 3. But now Dave Barry lurking there in the back of this little group. He is right there in third place. That battling between Johns and Archibald brought Barry back up to these two fellas. And Johns trying to hold it tough now with that little bit older tire compared to the rest of the group here. And he's also on a different fuel strategy as well. So he's going to have to pit his next pit stop, what we suspect to be everybody's second and well, technically they've already pitted twice, but actual green flag cycle pit stop, what we suspect to be the second time of asking for green flag pit stops. He's going to have to pit sooner than these guys that he's battling with. So really off another strategy than everybody else.
Oh yeah. As they head into turns 1, Richard still hanging strong up there in P2, keeping Dave behind him, trying to capture everything he can to get that suck from the back of the car of the 14 to get him closer to Sammy going into turns 2 and keep that pull a little bit stronger coming out of turn 2 to try to capitalize a little bit going into turns 3 and getting that run off of 3 going to the start finish.
Richard now getting a toe back to the 14. He has a better run through 3, but he's going to get really arrow tight going through 3. He's going to lose just a tad of momentum. Going to have to gain that back. Barry's going to get a run now down the long straightaway. Nothing to do with it though, as these guys kind of just snaking around, following one another. Archibald blinking at the moment. Oh no. Could Archibald have blinked out of the race? No, he came back. I think that's why Barry took some evasive maneuvers. He was like, I don't know where Sammy is, and I don't want to know. But hopefully that hasn't blinked since the end of turn 1.
So Richard Will is hanging very strong with Sammy. Not losing too much time. He captures all his momentum in turns 3.
Sammy got tied out of 3. Johns is going to get a good run on him now, Brian, because of how tight he got. What's Richard going to do? Is he going to make a move going into 1? Is he going to push him into 1? What's Richard going to do? Richard's just going to keep waiting. That run was not sufficient, Richard thought. Also, Richard probably wants that high line, the same line that Sammy's running.
Oh yeah, but
So
he is hanging
Richard,
strong with them. He's not letting
oh
them
yes,
go.
we can really tell, at least at the moment, tires. That tire life between Richard and Archibald, not too bad of a difference. Richard didn't.
I would say
Go ahead.
about like a maybe 2 lap difference. Sammy gets down on the rumble strip, gonna probably hurt a little bit, maybe not, but.
Well, it did, but Richard got tight behind him because of Archibald just really wacky getting down. He got way too low than he wanted to in turn 3, almost mowed some grass. He got down, like you said, he hit the rumble strip, and you saw how upset that truck got.
And Richard is not giving up, Will. He is still going to stick the fight to Sammy to do the best he can, because he is up there in the points trying to hang strong with the Berry and try to shake up some points a little bit. Yes, Chris, I am very sorry that I would be a little upset too. It's because we were going to talk to you, but we're like, now we'll talk to Sammy instead. So, 25 laps to go, Will. Now you see Mark Berry coming into the play here. Got to take Richard's line away from him. Richard's still going to hang strong on the outside there. Going to keep Mark to the inside. Don't know how comfortable he will feel going through the tunnel turn too wide. I guess we'll find out here. So Mark gives it to him.
Mark backed out of it.
Yeah. So.
Kind of a smart move. You don't want to be too wide, or even like we talked about earlier, they were almost 3 wide. You never want to be in an intense battle going into the tunnel turn. You can if you have, I would say, position on them. By position, I mean if your nose is in front of them, then you could kind of still Evel Knievel it out. See who's braver than the person outside. Just see, as they say, late of the last breakers, but last of the late breakers. There we go. I said it backwards, then we said it the correct way. But anyway,
So now,
just the tunnel. What?
I was going to say, so now you're starting to see tires start to affect Richard.
Yes, just ever so slightly, I would say.
But he put on a good battle up here in the front with Sammy for sure. So
more than ever so slightly, he is. Yes, those 4 to 5 lap. I think he pitted about 3 to 4 laps before the caution came out, Brian. So even that heat cycle with the kind of newish tires that he did have on. Yes, Brian, you are correct. He is now kind of struggling a little bit with the off-strategy kilt that he's got going on.
Okay, see Josh helping him get by Dave, or trying to at least, as he carries a great rhythm coming out of turn 1. Going to keep Josh there with him. He's going to try to get Josh by Dave. Let's see how well this tunnel turn will work. Just like that, perfect. Now that's going to leave Josh to the outside of Dave. Richard's going to help Josh get by Mr. Dave Berry there for that P4. But I do believe in the upcoming laps, Richard and Kyle Gooden's going to be the next to pit. So their strategy is going to be a little bit off from Sammy, Mark, and the rest of the bunch.
Oh yes, most certainly.
So
I was going to say, let's do a crank it up real quick if you want, and then be back in time for pit stops.
We can do that. Well, we want you guys to listen on here. We'll do our crank it up section and give you guys the sounds and sights of these truckers going around Pocono. Enjoy. So, Will, as we head back, Richard Johns comes back and takes the lead from these guys. But he is now coming in to make his scheduled pits. Of the night. Don't know if it's going to be his last one. We'll just have to wait and see. See, Richard's got a lead up there. He might come out about mid-pack with them. We'll just have to wait and see. But Philip Bridgman, Will, still out here, stayed out on the track. Only a matter of time before Philip comes into pit. As you see here, Brandon Moore is in front of Sammy Archibald. So Richard is the next one on freshies. And then next would probably be Philip. So $17 laps to go.
Alright, hello, I'm back. I got sidetracked, but I went to go grab a bottle of water. But it's okay. They were in the middle, or they had just started pitting right as we went to do our crank it up. How lovely. We mistimed it, but that's okay.
But Philip Bridgman is now making his pit stop of the night.
Hey, he led a lap, so able to get more points. So, like we talked about, every points matter, and he was the points leader at one time. I haven't kept up with the points, unfortunately, Brian, but I just know, those every point matters, like we talk about, each and every week. Going into the Truck Series playoffs, you said one more race?
Yes, which would be Richmond.
One more race until the playoffs, the Truck Series, BNR Truck Series playoffs.
I'm interested to see how this shakes out. Because like I said, Richard is the next one, two closest with freshy tires.
Be ironic if we had a caution now. But Archibald and Brandon here, first and second.
These two tend to see each other a lot. Well, now my board's going cuckoo. Yes, let's just leave Kyle Gooden first. There you go. There we go.
Alright, Kyle, looks like you're going to win tonight. There you go. According to scoring and timing and scoring.
So you see there, Will, Sammy gets a great run through the tunnel turn. A little bit better than Brandon. We'll have to see how they are through turns 3. Uh-oh. Well, that's just wonderful.
What happened?
Don't know. Everything just paused.
Hello, iRacing.
Technical
Hello,
difficulties. Mate. Give us one moment.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like Archibald is better in 2 and 3, and Brandon is just so much more better in turn one. He's able to maintain that gap all the way around the track just because of how good he's able to drive in and out better than Archibald.
This happened last time. Same exact track. The same exact track.
Did it?
Yes. Oh boy. Some difficulties at the moment. Yep, same track. As we try to get it back. If not, then I guess it'll just be an early night for us. But
I mean,
but we're hoping to get
that's a shame.
It is. Yeah, like now it's not even letting me connect at all. Hold on, we're gonna try something though. Truck Series. Right,
What is NIU?
What is
Northern, maybe Northern Indiana University, because it says versus Kent State.
Yes.
They have their Northern Indiana University, so like they have their hockey games streamed on YouTube because it. Wow. Okay.
All right, we're gonna try this again.
I saw another like college team. What college team did I see do that? Was it Michigan? No.
Come on. Come on. Come on. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Mikey!
Yes, well done. Thank you. Hold on, we're about to be back live for you guys. And just like this, we are back.
Yeah, screen share that. Come on now. You know you want to. Come on. Come on.
Is it going to record or?
Do you think do you think a over 10-year-old laptop would be able to run iRacing?
Yeah.
Really?
Should be.
Really?
I'm gonna have to stop this real quick.
Stop what?
Oh, wait, there we go, we're back.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, somebody's trying to pass Brandon. Who's that passing Brandon?
There you go, Dayberry, we're back. Sorry about all that, guys. Our apologies. Difficulties throughout the night here.
Well, the stream never ended, so I mean, hopefully whoever was here was still here with us, which I bet we both know who was still here with us, but...
But anyway, well, Archibald's still leading.
I'm going to say maybe Chris has this pulled up on his phone, and maybe our friend and Phillips, I was going to say, Leah, go ahead, just spoil everything. I'm trying to do a good thing about explaining stuff, and you're just over there just
capitalizing when it matters.
Richard up here in the top 5 at the moment.
Oh, contact! Sammy has hit the wall very hard in front of Dave Barry. That is
I can't wait to see that. I was looking up at at our overlays, and thank you, Brian. We need that. We need that passion. We need that excitement.
You're probably about to see it right here. Yep, and pow.
Oh my!
Yes.
See, I had to make up my excitement. You saw it live. Unfortunately, I was looking up at the broadcast. Darn it!
Okay.
Sometimes I get to make those fantastic calls.
Yes.
Oh.
But anyway, Will, 8 laps to go.
Come on, Sammy. Now just choke it away so I can make an exciting call. Come on. Come on.
I don't know. Sammy's still hanging.
Yeah, I think he made Brandon need a clean pair of pants because he really backed it up. I don't know if he still has a toe or not. He should. He's only 6/10 off of Sammy.
Yes, that's very sad. So we missed all the passing for the lead, and very unfortunate. But that's all right. We're back.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we though?
Not really. Yeah, because I mean, I think Brandon was leading when it wasn't Sammy.
Brandon was leading. Sammy was right behind him. So yeah, we did miss a little bit, but hey, we didn't miss Sammy bend it into the wall.
That is true.
Look at it like that. We didn't miss that. That was an exciting, hey, we didn't miss that could be the choke of the night, Brian,
Yes. But Richard is now starting to capitalize at the right time because Brandon's not.
I really want him to do good. Don't get me lying, okay? Don't take what I'm knocking him. I'm not knocking him. I'm knocking him so he would do better, so he don't drive himself into the wall if he's listening to our broadcast,
Yes.
Yeah, Mark and Richard going at it. This is a battle for 4th position, as you keep on wanting to allude to.
Oh yeah.
Closest battle on track. As Archie Bunker there just keeps slowly losing toe from Dave. As don't know what happened to Brandon. I guess Brandon burned his stuff up, Brian.
I believe so.
Especially after he saw a little bit tag the wall.
But my question is, can Richard take that P3 away from Brandon?
I mean, that was a good battle between Mark and Richard. Richard almost there to Brandon. I mean, he is bringing Mark along with him. Josh has a sniff. So, I mean, if they get even more racy, Josh could get a top 5 out of this.
Yes, he can.
Come on, Josh. You can do it. See, I pull for... Oh, God, never mind. He's driving in a Haley Deegan truck. Never mind. Back up.
Oh, Brandon hits the wall a little bit there.
Oh, no, Brandon chokes it away. We all know how Brandon loves to get a podium finish. He always tries to be talking to us after every race. Doesn't matter if it's me and you or me and Chris. He always tries to get a podium finish, Brian. Really?
Richard closing that gap in to Brandon here. Is he going
I was
to...
just...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was just joking about the Deegan paint scheme. Go ahead, Josh. Come on. Come on.
Oh, as they hang on the doors of one another there. That is going to hurt Richard. Refresh his car.
Oh, and Mark makes a move. Gets in front of Richard, trying to make a move on Brandon now. Come on, Josh, get up there. Man, you need to have a word with your driver there, boss man.
Yeah. He's ever so slightly trying. Oh, Richard
That's not
knows.
ever so slightly. That's just taking my good old easy time, just lurking around.
Oh, Richard knows
Oh,
he's
Josh.
faster than Mark.
Man, 3 laps to go here. About to be 2.5. Well, might as well just say 2 laps to go. Not quite. Almost. They should be now. I think Dave Barry should be at the line.
Yeah.
If not past it.
Now.
Okay. I'm a half a track behind on the stream, so I'm just going to keep looking down now.
Richard goes to the inside, out Brandon to try to take P4 away. Now going to set his eyes back on Mark.
He does do a slide job there in turn 1. I thought Brandon might have the momentum to get him back. Now Mark Berry going to snake him all the way down the back straightaway to try to maintain that 3rd position once he has taken it over. Can Richard Johns get back to Mark and retake Mark? He overtook him once for that 4th position, and he thought he, didn't have to deal with him anymore. But Mark stayed there. Mark stayed in tow. As they got to Brandon for 3rd place, Brandon was a bit difficult to pass, almost Newman-esque, and then Mark got by him like a sly dog, and still snaking down the straightaway, trying to break the toe of the draft. I think he's broken the toe, possibly, of the draft of the 51 machine of Richard Johns. Richard's going to have to probably settle for this 4th place. So, final lap of the race, Brian. It's going to be Dave Barry in 1st, Sammy Archibald 2nd, 3-second gap. Then Mark Barry in 3rd place, Richard Johns 4th, Brandon Moore rounds out the top 5 at the moment. Going through turn number 3 for the final time is going to be Dave Barry in that 56 machine. There you see him at the bottom of your screen. There he goes.
As Dave Barry comes across the line, P1. A lot of excitement tonight, that is for sure. We had our hands full tonight before the stream had broke away.
Yeah, it started getting great, and iRacing or whatever the forces may be there was just like, hold up a minute. It was like, wait a minute.
So Dave Barry's going to win it. Then Sammy, then Mark, then Richard.
Brandon Moore, Josh Small, Philip Bridgman, 7th place. Joe Stipe, stand up top 10 because, where else are you going to finish but inside the top 10 here tonight? Kyle Gooden, 9th place. Chris Camary, unfortunately, DNF'd out of the race after that spin. And Robert Amaral rounds out the field here tonight. So
we'll go ahead and see if we can talk to Mark.
Hey, Mike, you got a copy?
Yes.
Well, that was an intense closing lap battle between you, Brandon, and Richard there. Richard first got by you for 4th position, and then you kind of just followed him up to Brandon. Brandon smacked the wall coming out of turn 3 there onto the start-finish straight, and you guys really got up there to him, and Brandon kind of was almost hard to pass there for a moment, almost as if he was kind of like Ryan Newman. But then, man, you put a nice move to get by Richard, and then you got in front of Richard, then you slid by Brandon there. Just talk about your race, but then also just talk about how intense that closing battle was to get you back into the podium position there.
Yeah, that was a fun race. I just needed some drafting help, and if I could just draft up to the front, then I knew that I could pass them once the tires kind of got old and stuff. And then what I would do, and I'm sure probably no West was probably doing it, was I was actually braking in the corners and then getting back in the gas a lot sooner than everybody else, and so that's how I can get a big run on them.
And no downshifting tonight, right?
No.
Okay. I just still curious about that, even though I got told no earlier. I'm always ever so curious, even still. Next week's going to be Richmond. Kind of what's the thoughts and tribulations and everything going into Richmond?
Richmond's a fun track. We'll have to be easy on the tires. I think if we get a good long run and stuff like that, definitely tires will come into play.
Tires kind of came into play tonight. We saw different strategies take place. Kind of, what was your thoughts about all the strategy taking place tonight?
Yeah, if you pitted before everybody else, then you had it helped gain a little bit on the track. So definitely pitting first definitely helped.
Well, Mark, have any shout-outs or anything else you'd like to add about tonight's race?
Yeah, I think everybody did a really good job tonight, and a lot of fun racing there at the end. It was a pretty good battle, and everybody held their lines and raced clean, and it was a fun race, and thanks to all the admins.
Well, thanks for talking to us tonight, and hopefully you have a good night yourself, and catch you next week.
All right, thank you guys.
Next up, Sammy Archibald.
Yes, sir.
First time
Samuel can't get to victory. I mean, Sammy, how you doing?
Good.
All right, I was going to try to tie something in there, but I didn't want to keep throwing you under the bus after you kind of choked it away. So why and how and why could you why did you choke yourself away tonight?
I just I was looking in my mirror, sent it too hard, forgot to lift, went right into the wall.
Don't worry, I treat everybody the same way if they choke themselves away on a win. I did the same thing to Brandon. What was it, last week at Mid Ohio? It was fabulous. We just give each other stick. Anyway, yeah, Sammy, I really pull for you. I want you to win. I don't want you to finish second. I know how hard you worked on the console side of things of try to do good, be up front in the races, and I know you do the same thing over here on iRacing. So I like seeing you do good. I cheer for you. I know I'm not supposed to cheer for nobody, but I cheer for everybody. Yeah, good to see you doing good. Just wish it would have been one spot better. I know you do too. After you kind of smacked the wall, was the truck feeling different, or had you just blown your tires off of it?
Well, it felt the same until I sent it into turn 1, and then I blew the tires off of it, and then he was gone.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, maybe a late race caution would have really helped. Perhaps if you could have just somehow got one.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have wrecked, I still had a fast repair, so that would have been great.
It would have been. Anyway, next week is Richmond. Are you going to be here for Richmond? Do you like Richmond? How do you feel about Richmond? Does it hate you?
I'm horrible at Richmond. It is probably the worst track that I have on iRacing.
Okay, but we're still going to see you around, maybe?
Most likely.
Are you going to be able to do, like, full-time next season?
Hopefully. I mean, it's kind of tough now with work. Got to get up at 4 in the morning, so...
Yeah, you pick those pumpkins, don't you?
Not anymore. Got to build them pumps.
Oh, okay, you do something else now. Nice.
Yep.
Okay, pumps.
Yep.
Like water pumps or...
Sewage pumps.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
send them off to their crappy lives.
Well, do you have anybody to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to give? Or
No, I mean, we can, thanks Brandon for letting me pass him. That's always nice.
All right. Well,
Yep.
best of luck to you next week at Richmond. And like I said, Sammy, hopefully you can win a race or, keep finishing on the podium at least.
Yep, working on the racecraft. It's taking a while, but it's getting there.
Hey, man, you've always had good racecraft, so once you can find it and get even better at it on iRacing, you're gonna. I just know it.
Yep, gotta beat him.
Yep.
Hi, Sammy.
Hey, see you
That
guys.
time you got a podium, but yes, sir. Best of luck to you next week, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Last but not least, Mr. Dave.
Mr. Dave Barry, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Finished my meal earlier. That was good. So how it looked like at the start of the race you were gonna just kind of go conservative. After a couple of laps, you were like, "I'm just not feeling it tonight. Not gonna drive it too hard at the moment." Looked like you were conservative. You actually went a couple of laps longer than the people in front of you, so you were just chilling, and still had that same mentality, and ended up just being there when it mattered, like you always are, it seems, and just able. Well, I mean, Sammy, he said he kind of drove his stuff, to the end of its existence, and then he smacked the wall. You and Brandon had a front row seat for that. I'm sure that might have been a Code Brown moment. I'm not you, so I don't know. But just tell us about how your night went, man. It seemed like you were just kind of chilling for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying the first run just to figure out the truck here, and I ended up running up the right front.
The first couple of laps, especially.
Yeah, I just couldn't do nothing. I was trying to pass low, and the low side after about 4 or 5 laps was just horrible. So I burned them up. Ended up, having to drop to 5th. I mean, everybody else was just saving and doing a good job at it. So I was just hoping to settle in, but I thought I was going to get behind when I stayed out a little bit too long on these pits, on the pit cycles, but it worked in my favor. I was 3.5 behind Brandon and Sam, and just hoping that they would get racing side by side. They did, so it pulled me back in, and I seen. And you're right, it was actually a good pucker factor whenever Sam hit the wall. Because it was such a hard hit, I didn't know if he could control it, and I thought he was going to come back up into me. But once I seen his wheels straighten out, it was just a great save. So, but yeah, him and Brandon and Mark and Richard, I mean, they were just freaking flying tonight. And I think Josh would have probably been right there with us if he would have pit sooner. So, it's just a great race. It was really fun.
The scoring tower works at Pocono on the front stretch. That's cool. Not all the scoring towers work on iRacing, but this one works. That is... Wow, I'm sorry, I got distracted by... Man, I'm just gonna speak
by shiny things?
Yeah, I'm like George Bush whenever he's trying to do a press conference. I'm like, oh, look, a squirrel. But anyway, squirrel. Yeah, just fantastic race, I thought, overall tonight. One caution, I believe it was. So I know it was a small group tonight, unfortunate, but next week's Richmond. Probably have another small group for Richmond. Short tracks sometimes don't bring a lot, but sometimes they do. Sometimes, anyway, it's Richmond. What do you think we might see and have at Richmond?
Well, it's a good slick track, so you're just going to have to get into a rhythm, try to save the tires. Everybody's been there enough; they know it. Everybody will be pretty quick, but it's one of those patient races. You just got to keep the tires in good shape and find that rhythm. If you can get into a rhythm at that track, you're going to be dangerous.
Exactly. It is. It's all about rhythm based, and some people are just great about, like you said, finding that rhythm, getting into it. Especially the ones that are just out, like just stand up, shut out at short track racing. That's what you need at any short track, momentum, and if you momentum and rhythm, and if you can get those things and get it down to a T, oh my goodness, you can be, like you said, you can be deadly. And it can be a difficult track. It really can be, especially if you go in there constantly overdrive the corners, or maybe want to get back to the throttle too soon, I guess you could say. Especially, both both of the corner exits vastly different. So, got any shout outs or anything like that, David?
Yeah, I'd like to, thank you guys in the booth, the BNR network and BNR racing in general. The racing with these guys, every single one of them, I have a ball every week. I look forward to, showing up to the track and having fun. So, just want to thank everybody for showing up when they can, and congratulations to Mark for a top 3. And it wasn't my race to win. It was definitely Sam or Brandon's, and maybe even Mark's or Richard's, actually, because they were just all that quick. So I just got lucky. They decided to put a plow on the front of that and try to knock some concrete down, and it just didn't work for them. So I'm thankful, and it's another gift that I've been gave this season.
It is. Like, they just love gifting you wins. I don't want to say it's a shame, but I mean, it's a shame for them, but outstanding that putting yourself in position to win the races, though, David. Like, that's exactly what you need to do in order. Like, that's racing. That's motorsport. And if you don't do that, then you wouldn't be able to win these races. And if you're just kind of start your engine and just kind of putt around and just kind of just log laps and just not really drive to what you can, like drive to that 110% mark. As some people like to say, some people only like to give it 100%, but there is an extra 10 you can find. There's always an extra 10th.
Yeah, but, those elbows up.
Exactly. So thanks for talking to us tonight, David. And like you said, congratulations. The Brother Barry's on the podium, so double podium for the Barrys tonight. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully, you can keep carrying this momentum of the gifted races. But also the ones, there are races you have outright won yourself, David. Don't count yourself short there either. You are a fantastic racer, man. All these races I've seen of you can drive the wheels off of anything, David. But carry this momentum forward into the coming weeks, and just best of luck to you.
Thank you much. Hopefully we'll be back on here chatting after next Tuesday at Richmond.
Oh, hell, yes, sir.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that'll do it. So Dave Barry ended up sneaking in by God's gift favor there tonight. I would say overall great race before we had
technical difficulty.
Yes. But we ended up coming back to even more excitement after that, so I guess it worked out in our favor. But from myself, Brian Hunt, to Will Roberts, We thank each and every one of you guys for coming out tonight, tuning in, and looking forward to see you guys on Thursday. And then you can catch Will again on Saturday with Chris. So, for myself and Will, we thank you guys for coming on out. We hope we gave you the best show that we could possibly give you guys over here on Tuesday nights. And like, share, get the word out for us, and we'll tune in on the next time. So you guys be safe, and you guys have yourself a good night.